Hey friend, welcome to your practice. Today we are doing a smooth, stretchy, slow flow. And I will be giving plenty of modifications and options for those of you who are pregnant in your first, second, or third trimester. But if you're not pregnant, don't worry, this practice is for you also. Let's get started in tabletop. So as we come onto our hands and knees, take a moment to ground down, spread the fingers, plant the hands, and just notice what it feels like to have yourself rooted into the ground. Knit the ribs in, draw the belly button in, broaden your collarbones, and take your right leg out to the right. Then take your right arm up to the sky. Now make sure you're pressing down into the bottom of your right foot, so the whole sole of your right foot is on the ground. Then take your right arm into some big circles here. Start by going back, around, and then down and up. So back, down, forward, and up. So just take your time with it. Start to feel into your shoulder. And the next time we bring the arm up, we'll stay there. Then bring the hand down to the ground. Come up onto your fingertips. Sit back on your left heel and let your right toes rise up. If this isn't comfortable in your left knee, change it up, or you can keep your hands out in front of you and your hips lifted. Otherwise, maybe you walk your hands out in front of you, and if you're making space for baby, you could walk your hands to the right a little bit in that pocket of space between your legs. Or you can just choose to stay upright. Plenty of options. Let's take about 3 slow breaths here, in through the nose, out of the nose. And then walk your hands back up, shift your weight forward again, just like how we started. And take your right leg straight back behind you and over to the left side, probably off of your mat. Toes are tucked, press back through your heel and look over your left shoulder towards your right heel. So you're stretching through the right side body as you're pressing back into the right heel. Maybe you'll feel a calf stretch. Nice and easy breath. Then take the right leg straight back behind you and set your knee onto the ground. Now we'll go to our other side. Take your left leg out to the left, root down through the bottom of the foot, and reach your left arm up. We'll take our big circles with the left arm. We're just warming up into the joints to start, into the shoulder joint. And we'll take one more big circle. The next time the arm is up, you'll keep it straight up. Place your hand down onto the ground. Come up onto your fingertips and sit back on your right heel if possible as your left toes lift up. Walk your hands out in front of you or whatever you did on the other side. Rise back up onto your hands. Now take your left leg straight back behind you and cross it over to the right side. Press through the heel, look over your right shoulder. Just an easy stretch through the calf, through the left side body. All right, lift that leg back up. Set the knee down onto the ground. Tuck your toes. Walk your hands back to sit on your heels for one of my favorite poses, a toes pose. Maybe you spread your toes a little wider. And if it's too much, you can always come off of the toes. Reach your arms up to the sky. Grab onto your elbows to make a frame, or you might grab onto your wrists if you need more space. And twist to your right. Get really tall on your inhale, and every time you exhale, twist a little deeper. That's it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more like that. And come back to center. Switch sides. Twist to your left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 2 more breaths like that. We'll come back to center. Unwind your arms, bring them down, come back into tabletop and untuck the toes if you had them tucked. Now we'll sit back onto the heels again. And if you need to sit on something for comfort or sit cross-legged again, that's totally fine. Take the arms out wide. Take the right arm underneath the left arm for eagle arms. Modification, you can always grab onto your shoulders if your arms just don't do this. Take your elbows forward and up. And you can take some gentle little neck circles if you want. You're not taking full circles all the way around, just half circles side to side, chin down. Then we'll unwind the arms and take the left arm underneath the right. And same thing. You can do some neck circles if you want, elbows forward and up. And thank yourself for showing up and giving your body what it needs. Unwind, unravel the arms. Take a couple shoulder rolls. And come back into table. Step your right foot outside of your right hand to come into lizard. And we'll keep the back knee on the ground. We'll just rock a little bit side to side. Then we'll rise up onto the fingertips. Broaden the chest. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the right leg into a wide half splits. Flex the right foot. Take a couple breaths. And then we're going to make this dynamic by moving back and forth. Okay, now let's bend the right knee into lizard. Inhale. Exhale, shift it back into half splits. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten the leg. Let's do it 2 more times. Match the movement with your breath. Now, next time the leg is straight, stay there. And flex and point the foot a few times so you can stretch out the ankle of the right foot. Good, and then flex the foot. And either stay here if this feels like plenty, or walk your hands down further, keeping the spine nice and long. Draw the right hip back as you continue to walk those hands forward and dip your head between your upper arms. Two more breaths. Bend the knee, come back into lizard, and step back into table. Step your left foot outside of your left hand, lizard. Slide your back leg back, untuck your toes, and rock a little side to side. Say hello to your hip flexors on your right leg, your outer hip muscles on your left leg. And then rise up onto your fingertips. Take an inhale, broaden the chest. Exhale, straighten the left leg and stay here. Flex the toes, draw the left hip back. Keep the spine nice and long, the chest broad for now. And then bend the knee back into lizard, and we'll just shift back and forth on your own. Find that rhythm. Next time the leg is straight, let's keep it there. Flex and point the left foot. Your ankles will thank you for this. And then flex the foot. Draw the left hip back. Either stay here with your spine long, or keep the spine long and walk your hands down and let your head drop between the upper arms. Make your way back into lizard. Plant your hands and step back into tabletop. From here, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take any movement that feels good. Walk your hands to the back of the mat and grab onto your elbows, rock side to side, a slight bend of the knees. Then release your hands down and lift up halfway, and then come into a yogi squat malasana. So toes turn slightly out, heels in a little bit, hands to your heart. Lengthen your spine. And let's do a wrist stretch here. So the backs of the hands come together and you press your hands into each other. And then lengthen through the spine, press your elbows into your knees. Close your eyes if you want. So malasana is going to be different for everyone. Maybe this is a big hip stretch for you. Maybe you've done this a lot. It's not doing as much as you would like. Then focus on the wrists. Every pose doesn't have to feel so much. We don't have to feel so much in every pose. We can meditate. We can be with the sensation or the lack of sensation. And maybe you're really ready to come out of this if the hips are screaming at you. Bring the hands back together. Bring the hands down to the ground. Straighten the legs. And for those of you who are pregnant, you'll take your legs pretty wide to create space for baby. Just depending on how big the belly is at this point is how wide you'll take the legs. So create space so you're comfortable. Keep your left fingertips down. Reach your right arm up. Bend your left knee. Spread the toes. Good. Now we're going to keep this position. Take your left leg, cross it behind the right leg, and put the toes on the ground. And your heels lifted. And really reach the right arm up. So you might feel now more sensation through the outer right leg, up into the outer right hip. And bring your hand down to the ground. Stay with your legs like this, but now fold. Fold as deep as you want. All right, bring your left foot back to the left side of the mat. Right hand down, left arm up as you bend your right knee. So we're switching sides. Keep your right fingertips on the ground. Step your right foot over to the left side, toes on the earth. Heel lifted. Left arm stays lifted. Can you turn your chest to the left a little bit more? Bring your left hand down and fold over your left leg, keeping your legs exactly as they are. Bring your right foot back over to the right side of the mat. Lift up halfway, walk your hands back out to down dog. Shift into plank. Set your knees down onto the ground. If it's comfortable, lower all the way down to the ground. If not, stay where you are. Lift up for cobra pose. Roll the shoulders back and down. You can go into cobra if you didn't come all the way to the ground as well. Take a couple breaths in cobra. Shoulders back, chest opens. Maybe your neck goes back a little bit. And make your way into child's pose. Knees wide, feet together. Forehead rests to the ground. Start to walk your hands up, but keep your knees in child's pose position. And bring your hands like right in between your knees. And as you inhale, come into a cow shape. So draw the shoulders back and basically a little back bend. And exhale, round the spine into cat. If you need to put your hands on your knees, you can do that here. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. So hands on the knees might give you more space to move more. Keep going. Feeling into the spine, into these movements of extension and flexion. Now come back to neutral. Come back into down dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. Straighten the right leg out and step the foot between the hands. Put your back knee down onto the ground. Put your hands onto your front thigh. And if you're ready, take your arms straight up. With your right hand, grab onto your left wrist and take a side bend to the right. And if you want to go further here, you could put your right hand on the ground and shift your weight forward even more through your hips and let the left arm continue to go up and over to the right. So your chest faces forward. Reach your arms back up. And then straighten the right leg, come into half splits. So we've already been here in a wide leg. Now a chance to go further. You can stay here, or you can slide your leg forward more and maybe come into a full splits. And just be really cautious here. You want to do this slowly. You want to keep the back toes tucked. Keep a slight bend of the right knee. And if you have blocks, putting them under the hands could be helpful here, but don't push here. Don't overdo it. It's not worth it to hurt ourselves. Just go where you can right now for 3, 2, and 1. We come back into low lunge. Take your time. I'll wait. And then lift the back knee. Walk your hands over to the left side of the mat so your legs are wide. And bend your left knee into a side lunge. Press into the outer edge of your right foot. Plant down through your right hand. Lift your left arm up. Option to take your left arm into a half bind. Roll the left shoulder back. Keep bending into your left knee. Good. Reach the left arm back up. Put the left hand back down to the ground. And go back to center, both legs straight. Lengthen the spine and fold forward. Maybe you walk your hands out in front of you. All right, walk your hands back under your shoulders to lift up halfway. Slowly walk your hands to the front of the mat and step back to down dog. Lift your left leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. Straighten out the leg and step your foot between your hands. Put your back knee down, reach your arms up. Sorry, put your hands on your front thigh like we did before. Okay, now reach your arms up. Good, you can grab onto your right wrist and side bend to the left. Keep your ribs drawn in, core engaged. Or left hand down and continue to bend to the side. Hips press forward. Rise back up. Put your hands onto the ground. We'll go into a half splits. And keep in mind too, anything like this, always you can take your leg wider to make space for baby. So then you could slide your left leg forward and right leg back. If you're going into your version of full splits, Hanumanasana, again, be really cautious here not to overdo it. You'll notice that maybe one side feels more flexible than the other. For 3, 2, 1, start to make your way out of it. Bend your left knee, lift your back knee up, walk your hands to the right. And then we'll bend the right knee into a side lunge, straighten the left leg. Plant down through your left hand, lift your right arm up. Take your right arm into a half bind. So you're twisting to the right, right shoulder back. Lift the right arm up, bring it back down, straighten both legs. This time heels in, toes out, and we'll come into goddess. Then put your hands on your inner thighs and drop your right shoulder down, twist to your left. Come back to center, switch sides. And we'll do one more each side. Twist, center, twist, center. Bring the hands to the ground, straighten both legs. Walk your hands to the front of the mat and step back to down dog. Set your knees down onto the ground. Sit on your heels. Palms face up on your thighs. Take a moment to become aware of your breath. Put your hands on your heart. Feel your heart beating. We just give ourselves some love, appreciation. Release your arms down. We'll make our way fully into a seat. And take your right leg out to the right. And bring your right forearm inside of your right leg or on top of it. Take your left arm up and over towards the right toes. You might reach the toes, but maybe not. That's not the goal. Make sure you can see under your left arm. One more breath. And rise all the way up. Plant down through your hand, your left hand. Reach your right arm up and lift your hips up. Press your hips up and forward. And then slowly lower back down, and we'll switch sides. Bring your left forearm down, right arm up and over towards your toes. Rotate the chest up. Rise back up. Put your right hand down, take your left arm up, lift your hips up. Press the hips forward and up. One more breath. And release down. Bring your legs into a crisscross shape. Feel free to sit on something to give yourself a little height, some comfort. And sit tall. And as you inhale, feel the ribcage expand out, the belly expand forward. And as you exhale, the belly draws in. Keep breathing like that, big diaphragmatic breaths. So we're ending our practice by oxygenating the mind, the brain, and the body. Big breaths. The inhale is a sense of, I am here. The exhale, an arrival, a sense of, I am home. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am home. One more. Let your breath settle. Let it become quiet again. Bring your hands to your heart. And let's bow in gratitude for this practice.